for taking the time to join us today. What I want to do is go through a really quick 15-minute live demo of EesySoft. So for those of you who have not heard of EesySoft before, we're an ed tech adoption platform focused on increasing the usage of all of your different educational technology. So making sure that faculty and students are actually taking advantage of all of the tools that are available to them inside of Blackboard, including any of your third-party tools. So we're able to do this by tracking all of the data from your Blackboard environment, placing messages anywhere in Blackboard to users, and providing them with 24/7 support. But what can explain it better than me is actually seeing it for yourself on screen. So we're going to go ahead and log into Blackboard here, and the first thing that we're going to see is an example of one of these EesySoft messages. So with these messages, you're going to be able to place them anywhere inside of Blackboard to communicate more effectively with your students and your faculty, giving them information at the time of need when it's most relevant for them. So here, this is an example of a student orientation message that a lot of our customers have been using at the start of a new term. So specifically here, welcoming new freshman students into Blackboard. A lot of times we see them putting institution-specific videos here or using this to provide COVID-19 training. But a great way to welcome users into Blackboard at the start of the semester, kind of set some expectations and help give them some orientation inside of the platform. So a great way to provide that information. But also going into the fall term, a lot of institutions are going to be able to open up and welcome students back on campus again. But there's going to be a lot more rules and regulations with regards to how that's going to be done. So a lot of our customers are also using this messaging to communicate about these campus reopening plans, needs for COVID-19 testing or vaccines on campus, or even using them to clarify the different types of module or course modality deliveries. So now people have been really used to fully online courses or hybrid, and now being back on campus, it might help to provide some additional clarification about the different types of courses that are being offered and making sure that people understand what is the modality of the course that they're doing. So allowing you to place this information directly inside of Blackboard. But like I said, these messages can be placed anywhere inside of Blackboard. So here you'll see this hint message pointing us directly to the calendar button. So if any of you are looking at turning on Ultra Base navigation or Ultra courses for the upcoming fall term, EesySoft can really help you through this change management process, using these messages to really highlight and create awareness around some of these key new features that are a part of the Ultra experience, and pushing people towards some of those most important features which are added to the new experience and helping them to adopt many of these new functionalities. So here we're actually asking instructors to add due dates to their calendar so that students will see their upcoming activity here in the activity stream. And if you are turning on Ultra Base navigation, EesySoft actually has sets of pre-made messages specifically for turning on Ultra Base navigation, Ultra courses, and many other uses. But here you see just some general messages highlighting these new changes, but then you'll also notice these links down here. And when I click on them, they open up directly into the EesySoft Support Center. So we're able to provide users with information at the time of need without them having to leave the Blackboard environment, without them having to search for anything. And making it as easy as possible for them to begin working with these new features here inside of Ultra or just anywhere in Blackboard in general. Because this support tab is available 24/7, providing contextual and role-sensitive support. So here, when I trigger this support tab, I'm logged in as an instructor, and we're here on the calendar page. You see it automatically takes me to all of the help items about using the calendar. Now, this knowledge base is fully populated out of the box with all of the help items directly from help.blackboard.com. But you can also fully customize this knowledge base. So adding any of your institution-specific support or your third-party tool support. So EesySoft can also help you to track the usage of third-party tools, place messages around their usage if you're introducing new tools, if you're changing any of your third-party tools, or you just want to provide some additional support. You can add all of that information and contextualize it here in the knowledge base. And then down here, you'll notice that, let's say I couldn't solve my issue. Users will actually be able to directly escalate their support request from inside of this support tab. So we'll integrate with your current support workflows, your ticketing systems. If you have multiple help desks, we're going to be able to dynamically route the user based on their role, student versus faculty, based on the hierarchy or sub-account inside of Blackboard. So really allowing you to automate as much of this support process as possible. And then here you see where I get this reference number. We send through what we call a smart escalation email with all of that user's information, such as what operating system they're on, what browser that they're using, and even a link to exactly where they triggered that support request from. And by having this information, our customers have been able to reduce their time to resolution on support requests by 75%. On average. So many customers even quoting that this has been the equivalent of adding a new member to their support team. And this can really be enhanced as well by the way that you use the EesySoft messages. So they can be used proactively to deflect some of those most common support issues that you're running into throughout the different phases of the academic calendar. So this is probably one of the most common examples at the start of a new semester, letting students know what to do when they don't see their courses here on the My Courses page. Proactive messages such as this one have helped our customers to reduce the support requests on these targeted issues by 50% or more. So just really showing how communication at the right time and at the right place can go a long way to changing this user behavior. And one thing I didn't mention is that it's very customizable of who you're going to be able to place these messages for. So you're going to be able to really select your target audience, whether if it's going to be all students, all instructors. If you want to send a message to only first-year chemistry students, we're able to leverage all of the roles, the hierarchy, or the nodes inside of Blackboard to create these segmentations, or you can also upload your own custom list of users to segment these messages to a specific group. Now, this has been a really popular talking point recently. How many of you have had issues with storage inside of Blackboard? Now so many more people are using it, and they are storing a lot of files, and it's creating a lot of storage. And here, this is a campaign that's actually pre-made available out of the box, targeted towards helping instructors to reduce the size of their course. So this is just one general introductory message, but we'll look at another example here in a second of how this can really help to reach out to instructors and let them know some proactive strategies of how to reduce file size and reduce the size of their course. And again, you see that opening up directly into the EesySoft support tab. And we also work very closely with Blackboard Ally. So if any of you are looking at rolling out Ally or are currently using Ally, EesySoft can really help to promote these different functionalities to students and to faculty. So this is a message targeted towards students, letting them know how they can use alternative formats. A lot of times this is just something that's very easily overlooked by students, and by placing this message directly on this icon, you can really create that awareness, draw the attention, and increase the utilization of the really powerful tool that is Blackboard Ally. So letting students know they can download their lecture notes as an MP3, or even targeting these messages to a group of students with dyslexia at your institution, and promoting the Beeline reader functionality is something that our other customers have done. Same goes for instructors. Here we can trigger these messages directly on the red Ally gauge. So only on the red gauge. If it's yellow or green, they're not going to get this message. But here, asking them to improve the accessibility of their course. But here you'll notice not just telling them, hey, this is bad, you need to fix it. No, we want to show them the importance of accessibility and how it's beneficial for their students. But then, of course, again, linking them to the support content to help them through using Ally, and then as well as promoting the course accessibility report, because this is going to be the best place that an instructor can do the most amount of accessibility work on their course at one time. And so what you might have heard me mention at the beginning is that EesySoft is also tracking all of the usage data from inside of Blackboard. So I've just jumped over into the back end of EesySoft, our dashboard. And here you see we're looking at the tool adoption report. And this is what's really going to give you those insights into how is Blackboard actually being used. Right now we're looking at instructor usage inside original courses, but we could also look at student usage. We could look at usage in ultra courses. We could compare the usage between original and ultra courses, see those differences in usage patterns. We can also segment this data by any of the roles or hierarchies you have in Blackboard. But then down here, you'll notice these major different tool categories where I'm going to be able to drill down and I'm going to be able to see what tools are being used. But I'm also going to be able to drill down into each individual tool and see exactly how it's being used. So we're going to take rubrics as an example. So I'm going to be able to drill down into rubrics and see, are instructors adding rubrics to their assignment? We can go down even further and see if they're creating their own rubrics, importing them from other sources, or if they go back and edit their rubrics afterwards. So really giving you some granular insights into the usage patterns of your users. But most importantly, what we want to identify here are the areas of low adoption. And now what makes this data really valuable is that it's all fully actionable. So from directly inside of this report, let's say I want to increase the instructor usage of rubrics. Well, I can click on these two arrows here, and you'll notice that I can download this CSV file, so I'm going to be able to see who is using rubrics and who is not. Or I can create what we call a campaign, and this is a function directly inside of EesySoft, which will allow you to segment all of these instructors, in this case, who are not using rubrics, and target them with a message directly inside of Blackboard. So here, an example of a message that would be tied to this campaign is one that we'll look at here. So I'm an instructor. I've never used rubrics before, but I'm going through and I'm creating an assignment for my course. And as I go down here and I get to the page where I would add a rubric, you see we get this message asking the instructor, hey, do you want to save time grading? Here that they can add a rubric to their assignment and grade via the Blackboard app to save time grading. So again, not just placing these messages and telling people, hey, use rubrics. No, we want to show the instructor the benefit that it's going to have for them, but also the benefit that it'll have for the student. So showing the importance of rubrics, providing detailed evaluation and consistent feedback. But then as well as we've targeted all the instructors that have never used rubrics before. So here, giving them this link to a short video on how to create a rubric. So really supporting this entire adoption process. This can be paired up very nicely with any of the faculty development or training opportunities that you might be offering. Specifically, the messaging can be used first to promote these training sessions, and our customers have experienced higher turnout to development and training sessions by placing EesySoft messages to promote them, but then as well as reiterating and reinforcing these concepts that you cover in your training session through this messaging afterwards. You can target the messages only at the instructors that did show up to your training, or all of the instructors that didn't show up, and providing them with some asynchronous training opportunities. We'll go take a look at an example of that here in 1 second. But here, this is just one more example from the storage reduction campaign that we have created right here, where an instructor would be adding a file, letting them know about best practices of how to reduce file size. You can edit this message. You can let them know, hey, don't upload anything over 10 megabytes. However you want to word these, you're going to be able to change it. But of course, we've done some work to give you some templates and base to work off of. I mentioned the asynchronous training. So we see a lot of institutions creating messages such as this one throughout the different phases of the academic calendar to help instructors or even students with some of those key functionalities in Blackboard that they should be using at the start of the semester, during midterms, or even during finals. So here, just a short grading video message training for those instructors who might not have used grading before. So guys, I know this was a really quick presentation and a lot of different examples, but if you'd be interested in learning more, please do feel free to reach out. I'd love to give a custom demo, prepare some examples specific for your institution, and specifically if this is something that you think would be valuable for your institution or you'd like to take a closer look at, now is a really great time over the summer to have things set up and get this ready for the fall semester coming up, and can be really impactful during those new start of semester times. So I really appreciate everybody taking the time to join, and I wish you the great day and that you enjoy the rest of the TLC.